Toss Poliquin. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about branding. My field is very specific. It's strength training and nutrition, but you could use the same lessons. So how did I become the most successful strength coach in the world? Well, first thing, you have to have results. Results is what distinguishes you. So I've had Olympic medalists in 24 different sports, world record holders in 14 sports. It doesn't really matter if you're on the ice, you're on a track, in a pool. I make you faster and stronger. That's what I do for a living. So one of my best success stories is Hélène Maroulis. Hélène Maroulis is the first American woman to win a gold medal in wrestling. When she came to see me, she could only do 0 chin-ups, 0, okay? And she was fluffy, so she had weight to lose. So I said, we need to do some work here. So she trained 6 weeks with me, did more wrestling, then another 6 weeks, and then she went to the last week before the World Championships in Las Vegas. She did 2 chin-ups with 25 kilos, and she weighed 56. So not too many men in gyms will do chin-ups with 25 kilos. Women, it's impressive, especially when they're lifting in the chin-ups almost half the body weight. So she's world champion, and then she had to train for Rio. And then I trained her 6 weeks, give her a break, wrestle, trained her for 6 weeks. We did preparation for the Rio Olympic Games. She won the gold. The only points scored against her were from the referees, not from the opponents. And at my house, I was changing internet providers. So I was trying to find online the fight. I couldn't find it. And then I get a WhatsApp. Congratulations, coach. The color commentator in my country says that Ellen won because of strength. The girl she beat in the Olympic Games or World Championships had not lost a fight in 16 years. The last time these 2 girls met was 4 years before, and Yoshida, the Japanese girl, gave her a good beating. And then I get a WhatsApp from Dubai. Congratulations, coach. The commentator in my country says that Ellen won because of strength. So, second. And then ding, 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 ding. I got all sorts of WhatsApps. I couldn't see the fight. I was very frustrated. And then I get a WhatsApp from Helen. Hey, coach, thank you. When I put my hand on a Japanese girl, I said to myself, whoa, she's really, really weak. So I replied, no, you're really, really strong. When the Japanese girl came off the mat, she was crying, and she said in Japanese, the American is too strong for me. And she was a national shame. She won 3 gold medals. She was going to win a 4th one, and she didn't. And then after that, for a week, I got calls from all over the world. Hey, do you want a job? Do you want to be a strength coach? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not interested. But success breeds success. So Brian Shaw, who's the world's strongest man for 4 years, saw the results I have, and he asked me, I lost the World Championships this year. Can you train me? Sure. It is a good thing that he is a strong man. Imagine with the size of those hands if he was a gynecologist or a proctologist. So I'm the only strength coach in history that's been a strength coach at the Olympics for 3 Olympics. I'm the most published strength coach. My work has been translated in 34 languages. It's been plagiarized a lot, which is a compliment. I'm the most quoted strength coach in the scientific literature. So in university books for strength training, my name comes out the most often. And then I took my expertise and used it in other fields, like the movies. So for the movie Cool Runnings from Walt Disney, I was the strength coach to get the actors, ready for the movie. They were in terrible shape, and they asked me to get them in shape, and I did it in record time. I worked for the U.S. Secret Service with the counter-assault team. These are the men that protect the men who protect the president. Okay? So the bodyguard's bodyguard. You never see them on TV because they're on the rooftops, they're snipers, and in the crowd, they dress like everybody else. But they need to be really good at weapon retention and weapon disarming. So they need the strength. So there can only be one priority. A thing that is popular nowadays is the concept of a life coach. And they do exercises with their clients. Like, give me your 10 priorities. Hey! Priority means one. It can only be one. Okay? So here's an example when you mess up with your priorities. Okay? So if you take 2 opposite molecules, it doesn't work for you. It's the same when you have too many priorities. So a basic principle is that if you only have one ass, you can't sit on 2 horses. Okay? It's such a popular concept. I've said that for many years. I learned it from my Hungarian mentor. They wrote a book about it. So people who are successful focus on priorities. And most people who are not successful have no goals or too many priorities. So there's a book called The Power of Less by Leo Babauta. And its whole concept is we need to simplify our lives. And I'll give you a very important tip. You can only have 3 goals per year. And when you finish one, you have 2 goals. You don't make a new one. So you finish goal A, finish goal B, finish goal C. You can work on all 3 goals at the same time because sometimes you call somebody, you have to wait for them, so you're not going to sit and wait. You can work on goal B, you could work on goal C, but the key is never take a new goal on until you finish the other ones. Does that make sense? Yes or no? See? Your schedule never lies. Your schedule never lies. So if you come and see me, I want to be more successful, whether you're an athlete or businessman, I say, okay, show me your agenda. Okay? And people waste a lot of time. So this is the way I live my life. I wake up at 4. That's very early. I take 10 grams of glutamine in water, and then I write my grateful log. which I will explain to you a bit later. Then from 4:10 to 5:10, I do personal growth reading. So I read a book like Willpower Does Not Work, or any of the books I've shown you. Those have always been read between 4:10 and 5:10. So that's time for me. Then I have a solid breakfast, which is meat and nuts, or seafood and nuts. One of the good foods to eat for breakfast is lobster. Lobster is one of the best foods for breakfast. It's really good for your brain. And when you eat lobster, I like to eat macadamias, because macadamias is the best for acetylcholine. When you fly overseas and you need to wake up, the best food to eat is caviar. So when I board a plane, I bring caviar. And then when they say, put your seat in the upright position, blah, 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 I eat caviar. Okay? Caviar is the best food for waking up your brain. Okay? Caviar is expensive, but it's worth it. Okay? So if I need to be really sharp, I eat caviar. Okay? Then I wake up my daughter. We do the morning routine. And then at 7:30, so I drive her to school. She starts school at 7 usually, so feed her, drive to school. 7:30, I do technical reading. What I mean by technical reading is I read scientific studies. So I could read on malnutrition and brain. So, for example, last night I read on B9, B12, and brain development. I know I am a nerd, but I'm a big nerd, so don't call me that. And then at 8:30, I train. I have a very good gym in my house, okay? And then I take a post-workout shake, I have a shower, then I work. What do I do in work? Well, I write articles, I negotiate deals, I consult a lot on Skype, a lot. That's the advantage nowadays of being able, with the electronic world. At 11, I have a snack. At 11:30, I go back to work. And when I work, I use the Pomodoro technique. I work 25 minutes, 5-minute break. Now, this is very important to know. There's a lot of research that shows this. If you work, let's say consult, whatever, after 25 minutes, walk around, do push-ups, do whatever you want, but don't sit on your butt. Move. You can do some stretching. You can do a yoga pose. Whatever you have to do. What research shows is if every 25 minutes you take a physical break of 5 minutes, you learn faster, much faster, okay? Up to 3.3 times faster, just doing those short pauses. Then after that, I work 25 minutes, and I do this. So I never work more than 25 minutes without taking a 5-minute break. But I do need to use a clock, because contrary to ADD, or attention deficit disorder, I have the opposite in my brain. I tend to concentrate too long for a long time. So I have to discipline myself to do this. Some people have to discipline themselves to focus. I have to discipline myself to unfocus. So then I have lunch, I work, I pick up my daughter, and then we do after-school activities, Krav Maga, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, shooting, whatever. She wants to be a stunt woman when she grows up. So I help her with her goals, and I know that I don't need ever a restraining order with her. She can take care of herself. And then we have dinner. She does her homework. And then I do my grateful log. and bedtime. So I found for myself, if I wake up at 4, I don't get disturbed by phone calls, emails. Another thing that's really important is I don't turn on anything electronic. When I work paper, pen, old style school. The only thing that's electronic is I may read research on the internet, but I don't go to social media, I don't go to look my email. Those are time wasters. I get 1,400 emails a day, unsolicited. Okay, I have a lot of fans, and my staff reads the questions, and they filter 6 questions a day, okay, that I answer. And I have 2 emails. $150,000 client, regular clients. So I filter who's important. Write this down. It takes 1 bullet to kill a squirrel. It takes 1 bullet to kill an elephant. So every day I go elephant hunting. I don't spend time with squirrels, not enough meat. So when I focus on things, it's just very precise on what I want to attain. Does that make sense? Okay, so today I write in my grateful log. Today I leave a legacy by teaching success principle at Frank Merenda's seminar. So it's really important when you write the goal of the day. So some people say, today I win the day by blah, blah, blah. I prefer to say, I leave a legacy. When you leave a legacy, it means you change the world. When you leave a legacy, you leave the world in a better place. Does that make sense? See? So, the goals, and one thing a few years ago, I was very lucky. I was invited to a private party, a teaching party, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he said, and he learned this from his father-in-law, you have to break the mirror in order to see the people behind it who want to improve. Okay? So, it's important to stop looking in the mirror. That's why Instagram take that's why I refuse to take selfies. If you want to do a picture with me, somebody else has to take it. As soon as you do this, it means you have no friends, right? So I never let people take selfies. I insist somebody else has to take the picture. It's very important that when you start your day is how can I serve as many people as possible. You want to be a millionaire? Help 1 million people. You want to be a billionaire? Help 1 billion people. Make sense? Okay, wake up. Okay, then I write 3 things I'm grateful for. So, 1, I getting to teach motivated people, you. I found a great gym in Parma. It's a mom and pop shop. I like to train and give my money to the small businesses. I don't go to gym chains ever. I always try to find mom and pop gyms because they're struggling and I want them to be better, right? And if I go yesterday, I went to a gym here in Parma and I had 2,000 friend requests from Italians, right? I'm sure that guy's going to be busier than a one-armed cab driver with a bad case of crabs who's driving a standard. And I have the best daughter in the world. So you should always look at small things, but every day, some people think, I'm grateful for my dog, and they write that every day. Fuck, get a life. So every day, I just think, what do I have special? Sometimes it could be, I'm in a great hotel, and I say, I'm grateful for the view I have of Hong Kong, right? But people lose gratefulness for small things, right? So it's very important that what you appreciate appreciates. Okay? So, for example, every hotel I stay, I will leave 20 to 50 euros on the pillow when I leave, right? People who work in hotels, they don't make a lot of money. But if you help them, let's say the kids to the movies, you're doing a place, you leave the world in a better place every day. So it's very important as a human that you make other people's lives much better. Does that make sense? What? Oh. Then at night, I write things like this. I finalized a CBD endorsement line. CBD, which is derived from cannabis or hemp, is the future in brain research. I think CBD, if you use the right isomers, can really regenerate your brain. You can think faster. You can relieve anxiety. You can bring down inflammation. So I'm a big believer in CBD products. Then I say I had a great workout at Carlos Branchi's gym, and I had to do a deal with my yin reserve, which is the magnesium supplement I developed, helps relieve anxiety. And we went from, when Tim Ferriss said it was a good product, I went from 2 countries to 74 countries in 24 hours. So now we sell so much that I have to have another plant in the US to satisfy production. It's a good problem to have. And then at the end of my grateful log, I always give myself a goal. So I choose to do James Altucher's principle of a list of 10 items. So a good thing to do is to write lists of 10, no matter what. 10 habits I want to break, 10 habits I want to gain, 10 people I'm not going to talk to, 10 people I want to talk to. So I vary it every day, but it allows the creative part of your brain to be more functional. Okay? Creativity is very important. And also, it takes it off the RAM of your computer. So it's on paper. I take a picture of the journal and I put it in my computer. It's normal to have bad days. And when I have a bad day, I go back to my files and I look at my great days. And then 10 seconds later, I can get off my ass and work some more. You get what you celebrate. So if you are grateful, you have more in your life. Okay? Simple things like saying thank you, those are very important. And the thing, I'll give you a secret. In my grateful log, I write thank you for things that I don't have yet. But I convince my subconscious mind that it's already happened. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I hired 2 guys from Toronto. I was going to put this super software online. And I realized after a while, I was paying and nothing was getting done. So one of my former athletes said, hey, you remember this guy? I said, yeah, he writes program software. So I said, I'll be in Montreal, I'll talk to him. I take the guy to lunch, and I show him the software. And the developer said it's going to take 5 years. So I said, how long would this take to go online? He goes, it's a tough job. Define tough. 2 weeks? What? 2 weeks? Not 5 years. No, 2 weeks. I said, can you prove it to me? He goes, I wrote the software for Canada's biggest financial firm. It counts all the numbers, exchange savings, interest, blah, blah, blah. I said, show me. So I go behind and I see their code. I go, I've been paying full-time money, $150,000 per employee for 2 years, zero result. I said, okay, let's just hire you for 2 weeks. Do the best you can do. After 2 weeks, he says, I apologize. I underestimated the job. Can I have 5 days? Sure. I paid him for 5 days. He did the job. Not 2 years at 2 salaries. So basically 3 weeks, he did the work of 2 men for 2 years. Of course, I got rid of my partners. I tell them, I know where you live, and I have friends in low places. Right? So, but before this happened, I wrote in my grateful log, I thank you for meeting an honest, smart person to write my software so it goes online in a record time. It took 3 weeks and a person showed up in my life. You may say this is voodoo bullshit. It is the truth because I do this all the time and it always happens. Sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes 3 weeks, sometimes it takes 6 months, but you have to plant in your mind. So if you say thank you for, it's more likely going to happen. Does that make sense? See? See? Okay, managing money. 10% of your money should be what I call fuck off money or fun money. It's fun, you do whatever you want with it, but you can't invest it. You have to have fun in your life. So, go 2 weeks in a resort in Greece, or I can take my daughter on a cruise to Norway, whatever. 10% I give away religiously. I give to that anti-child prostitution fund. I buy tigers. I help athletes who have no money. And whenever I go somewhere, I ask, what do you want me? For example, in Australia, I helped blind people in Sydney. When I went to Melbourne, Arnold Schwarzenegger's business partner funds an organization that collects food that the restaurants will throw away, and they donate it to homeless people. It's called First Bite. And again, that's part of, you have to leave the world in a better place. If you're afraid to give money away, the universe won't give you money. So when you give money, you don't think about the reward. It's gone, but it always comes back. Most of the time, 10 times more. So the way I do financial goals is I decide for the year how much money I want to give. Not the money I want to make. It's the money I want to give. And the reason why it works is I got to make 10 times the money that I want to give. Right? So it presets my brain into being a generous person and, again, leaving a legacy. The most important thing you need to learn today, you always have to leave the world in a better place. But you have to give to what inspires you. That is your individual choice. But when you give it, you should feel it in your heart that you feel better. Okay? And that's very important. because it's going to be easy to give. Okay, one thing, you have to learn more